Tomorrow, Ohio voters will head to the polls for the state's primary election. 7 Republicans will face off for the chance to become the GOP nominee for a U.S. Senate seat. New polling places author J.D. Vance, who's backed by former President Trump, ahead of his fellow candidates. However, it appears Trump mixed up Vance's name with rival candidate Josh Mandel during a rally in Nebraska yesterday.
We've endorsed Dr. Oz. We've endorsed JP, right? J.D. Mandel, and he's doing great. They're all doing good. They're all doing good. And let's see what happens.
So for more analysis, we want to bring in Haley BeMiller. She's a political reporter for the USA Today Network, Ohio Bureau, and has been following this race. The first thing that I want to ask you is, the general thinking is the Republican that wins the primary is probably going to win the seat, which means that nothing's going to shift. Ohio, this seat it's a Republican sitting in the seat now. It'll probably be a Republican after the election. But it's still something that the country is watching. This race is something the country is watching. Why is that?
So I think for a couple of reasons. First of all, this has just been an unprecedented primary for Ohio. A lot of money, a lot of candidates, really competitive. Again, as you noted, this is an open Senate seat in 2022 at a time when the Senate is incredibly closely divided. So while Republicans feel good about hanging on to this seat, there is an urgency because they want to regain control of the Senate in November. Another thing, too, is I think people are watching this for, to answer the question of what Trump's relevancy is going to be in these 2022 midterms. And, by deciding that he was going to back J.D. Vance, it was a little bit of a risky choice for him in this particular race because Ohio Republicans have very mixed feelings about Vance. But if Vance ends up winning, which, as you noted, recent polls suggest that, this has really catapulted him at a key time. This will be, it's high risk for Trump, but it's also high reward if he's able to say that he got Vance to the finish line here.
And as I understand it, there was a pretty sort of intense battle to win Donald Trump's favor and to get his endorsement. Why do you think he ultimately settled on J.D. Vance, as you point out, a risky decision?
Well, I think, early on, there were some questions for Trump about, Vance's loyalty. Vance was very critical of Trump in 2016, shortly after his book Hillbilly Elegy came out. But Trump, as we know, likes people who can win or who he feels like can win. One of the front runners in the race for a while, Josh Mandel, former state treasurer, still well-liked among some Republicans here. He has a lot of name ID, but he has lost previous races for Senate. He lost in 2012. He dropped out in 2018. So I think there were some concerns about his track record there. Mandel and one of the other candidates, Mike Gibbons, also almost came to blows on the debate stage a couple months ago. And we've seen some reporting that suggests that Trump wasn't too impressed with that, thought that whole ordeal was a little silly. So I think for Trump, Vance is someone who is certainly, he feels, has made up for what he said in 2016. Trump has noted that there were a lot of people who didn't like him in 2016, and he sees Vance as someone who's perhaps a little bit more polished and can go into the general election cycle with on a little bit more stable footing.
Yeah, I wonder, too, if there's, you mentioned Hillbilly Elegy, the book that he wrote that was like a bestseller. And I wonder, sometimes the president also likes a little bit of that star quality when it comes to the candidates that he backs. Who knows if that's part of it? Haley BeMiller, thank you very much.
Thank you.